Ever wondered how walking away could be the most powerful decision you make? In this video, we'll reveal 13 surprising lessons on why knowing when to walk away can lead to personal growth and strength. Stick around to discover how this choice can transform your life and why it might be the best move you've never considered. Like, subscribe, and stay on the path. Self-respect is non-negotiable. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the tumultuous waves crashing below. It's a terrifying sight, and yet, a small voice inside you dares you to jump, to prove something to yourself or perhaps to others. But instead of giving in, you step back, understanding that your safety and dignity are far more valuable than any fleeting thrill or validation. This moment of restraint, of choosing your well-being over reckless abandon, is the essence of self-respect. Walking away from situations or people who undermine your self-worth isn't just about avoidance. It's a fundamental act of preserving your integrity. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, self-respect isn't merely a virtue, it's the cornerstone of a fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, once remarked, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." This powerful statement underscores the importance of self-respect. When you walk away from situations that compromise your dignity, you're not just avoiding conflict or discomfort. You're making a conscious choice to affirm your value. It's a stance that resonates through every aspect of your life, from personal relationships to professional endeavors. However, the challenge comes when society, circumstances, or even our own insecurities make us question our worth. You might find yourself in a job that consistently belittles your efforts, or in a relationship that drains your spirit and makes you doubt your value. Walking away from these scenarios isn't a sign of failure or weakness. It's a powerful statement that your dignity is non-negotiable. The real strength lies not in enduring such situations, but in recognizing when to let go, understanding that your self-respect is paramount. By stepping away, you're not only honoring yourself, but also setting a standard for how you expect to be treated by others. This decision reinforces your self-worth and sends a clear message that you will not tolerate anything less than what you deserve. In essence, it's about understanding that your value is inherent and cannot be compromised. This lesson teaches us that self-respect isn't just about standing firm, it's also about knowing when to walk away from what doesn't serve you, preserving your dignity above all else. Reflect on your own life for a moment. Are there areas where you're compromising your self-respect for the sake of acceptance, convenience, or fear of the unknown? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that enduring mistreatment or disrespect is the price we pay for belonging or success. But this is a false narrative. The truth is, by embracing the strength of walking away, you reaffirm your commitment to yourself and your values. You tell the world, and more importantly yourself, that your self-respect is the foundation upon which all healthy relationships and successful endeavors are built. Walking away isn't always easy. It can be daunting to leave behind the familiar, even when it's harmful. There's a certain comfort in what we know, even if it comes at the cost of our self-worth. But by choosing to walk away, you open the door to new opportunities and healthier relationships where your dignity is respected and valued. It's a courageous act that requires strength, clarity, and a deep understanding of your worth. So, as you navigate through life, remember that self-respect is non-negotiable. It's the foundation of your happiness, the bedrock of your relationships, and the guiding principle of your actions. When faced with situations that challenge your dignity, choose to walk away, not out of fear, but out of a profound respect for yourself. Because at the end of the day, your self-respect is the most valuable asset you have. It's what defines you, empowers you, and sets the standard for how you allow others to treat you. Embrace it, protect it, and never settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. You can't change others. Picture yourself in a heated discussion, trying desperately to convince someone of your point of view. You've marshaled every logical argument, drawn on every emotional appeal, yet they remain unmoved, steadfast in their beliefs. It's as if you're trying to change the course of a river with your bare hands, an impossible task that only leaves you exhausted and frustrated. This is the essence of realizing that you can't change others. In the world of Stoic philosophy, this lesson is central. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, famously remarked, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." This profound insight reveals that the source of our distress is often our own desire to control what is beyond our reach, including other people. The truth is, you can't control how others think, act, or feel. The only power you truly have is over your own reactions and choices. When faced with stubbornness, negativity, or resistance from others, the wise choice is to accept that their behavior is beyond your control. Instead of expending energy trying to alter their attitudes or change their minds, focus on what you can control: your responses, your actions, and your mindset. This shift in perspective is liberating. It allows you to conserve your emotional resources and invest them in areas where you can affect change, primarily in your own life and within your own sphere of influence. Consider a scenario where you're working in a toxic environment, surrounded by colleagues who constantly criticize your ideas and undermine your efforts. The temptation to change their opinions, to make them see the value in your contributions, can be overwhelming. However, the reality is that their views are their own, shaped by their experiences, biases, and choices. Trying to alter them only leads to frustration and a sense of powerlessness. The more effective approach, as Stoicism teaches us, is to maintain your composure and continue working towards your goals, regardless of their opinions. By embracing this Stoic principle, you learn to detach from the need to control others and instead focus on what you can control: your actions and reactions. This shift not only reduces stress, but also empowers you to create positive changes in your own life without being hindered by others' resistance. It's a lesson in humility and acceptance, teaching us that true power lies not in changing others, but in mastering ourselves. Reflect on areas in your life where you're trying to change someone else. Are you caught in a cycle of frustration, hoping that they will see things your way or behave differently? How can you shift your focus to what you can control and find peace in acceptance? Understanding this lesson helps you conserve your energy, reduces unnecessary stress, and fosters a more serene and productive approach to life. It's important to recognize that letting go of the need to change others doesn't mean you don't care about them or their actions. It simply means you understand the limits of your influence and choose to focus your energy where it can have the most impact. This perspective is not only empowering but also leads to healthier, more respectful relationships. By accepting others as they are, you create space for understanding, empathy, and, ultimately, personal growth. In many ways, this lesson is about respecting the autonomy of others while also protecting your own peace of mind. It's about recognizing that each person is on their own journey, shaped by their own experiences and choices. Trying to change them is like trying to rewrite their story, an impossible and, frankly, intrusive task. Instead, focus on your own path, your own growth, and your own reactions. This is where your true power lies. The realization that you can't change others is a liberating one. It frees you from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable and allows you to focus on what truly matters: your own actions and responses. By accepting this truth, you can navigate life with greater peace, clarity, and effectiveness. Remember, the only person you have the power to change is yourself. Embrace this power and let go of the rest. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. Imagine holding on to a heavy, burning torch as you climb a steep mountain. Each step becomes increasingly difficult, the weight of the torch pulling you down and the flames licking at your skin. The higher you climb, the more unbearable it becomes. At a certain point, dropping the torch isn't just an option. It's a necessity for survival. This vivid metaphor illustrates the crucial lesson that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a strategic decision for your well-being. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which depends on the actions of others." This quote highlights a common human tendency: holding on to expectations, relationships, or situations in the hope that they will change or fulfill us. But often, these expectations become burdens, weighing us down and preventing us from moving forward. Letting go of these burdens isn't an admission of defeat. It's a powerful act of self-preservation and wisdom. Consider a personal relationship that has become increasingly toxic. The love, trust, and connection that once flourished have faded, replaced by conflict, resentment, and emotional pain. You might feel a deep sense of obligation to hold on, fearing that letting go means giving up or admitting failure. But the truth is, letting go in this context is an act of courage. It's about prioritizing your emotional health and well-being, recognizing that clinging to something harmful only causes more damage. Walking away from a relationship, a job, or even a dream that no longer serves you is not about running away from challenges. It's about making a conscious choice to prioritize your well-being and create space for new opportunities and growth. Letting go allows you to release the past and move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. It's a decision rooted in self-respect and self-care, acknowledging that your happiness and peace of mind are worth more than holding on to something that brings you pain. Reflect on your own life. Are there situations, relationships, or expectations that you're holding on to, even though they're causing you more harm than good? Letting go doesn't mean you're weak or that you've failed. It means you're strong enough to recognize what's not working and wise enough to release it. By doing so, you free yourself to pursue what truly aligns with your values and brings you joy. This lesson also applies to the expectations we place on ourselves. We often hold on to unrealistic standards or goals, pushing ourselves to the brink of exhaustion in an attempt to meet them. Letting go of these self-imposed burdens isn't about lowering your standards or giving up on your dreams. It's about being kind to yourself, recognizing your limits, and allowing yourself the grace to adjust your course when necessary. In many ways, letting go is about trust. Trusting that by releasing what no longer serves you, you make room for something better. It's about having faith in yourself and in the process of life. This mindset shift can lead to profound personal growth and a deeper sense of inner peace. By letting go, you create space for new possibilities, relationships, and experiences that align more closely with your true self. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful act of strength and self-love. It's about recognizing when something no longer serves you and having the courage to release it. Whether it's a toxic relationship, an unfulfilling job, or unrealistic expectations, letting go allows you to move forward with greater clarity, peace, and purpose. Embrace the power of letting go, and you'll find that it's one of the most liberating and empowering decisions you can make. Protecting your peace is essential. Imagine being in a chaotic, noisy room where everyone is shouting, and the walls are closing in. You can feel the tension and stress building within you as the noise becomes unbearable. Now, picture yourself stepping out of that room, closing the door behind you, and finding yourself in a serene, quiet garden. The contrast is stark, and the relief is immediate. This scene illustrates the importance of protecting your peace, a concept deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote emphasizes the direct connection between inner peace and the state of your mind. Protecting your peace means being vigilant about the thoughts you entertain, the environments you allow yourself to be in, and the people you surround yourself with. It's about creating and maintaining a space, both mentally and physically, where you can thrive. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of demands, expectations, and stress. Whether it's work pressures, family responsibilities, or societal expectations, the noise of life can often drown out your inner calm. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries and making deliberate choices to safeguard your mental and emotional well-being. It's not about isolating yourself from the world, but about being selective with what you allow into your life. Consider a situation where you're constantly surrounded by negativity, whether it's a toxic work environment, draining relationships, or a bombardment of distressing news. Over time, this constant exposure erodes your sense of peace, leaving you feeling anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed. Protecting your peace in such a scenario might involve distancing yourself from these sources of negativity, setting clear boundaries, or even making significant changes to your environment. Walking away from situations that disrupt your peace is an act of self-care and self-respect. It's about recognizing that your mental and emotional well-being is a priority and that you have the power to protect it. This might mean saying no to certain commitments, limiting your exposure to stressful situations, or choosing to surround yourself with positive, supportive people. It's about taking control of your environment and creating a space where you can maintain your inner calm. Reflect on areas in your life where your peace is being compromised. Are there situations or relationships that consistently disrupt your sense of calm? How can you take steps to protect your peace and create a more balanced, harmonious life? This might involve making difficult decisions or having tough conversations, but the reward is a greater sense of well-being and a more fulfilling life. The Stoics believed that inner peace was not just a luxury, but a necessity for a good life. They taught that by controlling our reactions and managing our thoughts, we could maintain our peace even in the face of external chaos. This lesson is particularly relevant today, where the constant noise of modern life can easily overwhelm us. By protecting your peace, you create a buffer against the stresses of the world, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and resilience. Protecting your peace is essential for your overall well-being. It's about making conscious choices to maintain your inner calm, setting boundaries, and being selective with what you allow into your life. By prioritizing your peace, you create a foundation for a happier, more balanced life. Remember, your peace is your responsibility. Guard it fiercely, and don't allow anyone or anything to disrupt it. By doing so, you empower yourself to live a life of greater joy, clarity, and fulfillment. Boundaries are a form of self-love. Imagine a beautifully maintained garden surrounded by a sturdy fence. This fence isn't there to keep others out entirely, but to define the garden space, protecting it from potential harm while allowing for controlled, healthy interaction with the outside world. This scene is a perfect metaphor for understanding the importance of boundaries as an act of self-love. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This quote reflects the essence of setting boundaries, knowing your values, your needs, and your limits, and then creating a life that honors them. Boundaries are not about isolation or selfishness. They are about self-respect and self-care. They define the line between what is acceptable and what is not in your interactions with others, ensuring that your well-being is protected. Setting boundaries can be challenging, especially in a world that often equates self-sacrifice with virtue. You might feel guilty for saying no, or fear that setting limits will push others away. But the truth is, boundaries are essential for healthy relationships and a balanced life. They allow you to protect your time, energy, and emotional health, ensuring that you can give your best to the people and activities that matter most to you. Consider a situation where you're constantly being asked to take on additional responsibilities at work, even though your plate is already full. The pressure to say yes can be overwhelming, driven by a desire to please or a fear of disappointing others. However, by setting a boundary and politely declining, you're not only protecting your own well-being, but also ensuring that you can perform your existing tasks to the best of your ability. It's an act of self-love that benefits both you and those around you. Walking away from situations that violate your boundaries is a powerful affirmation of your self-worth. It's about recognizing that your needs and limits are valid and that you deserve to be treated with respect. This might involve distancing yourself from toxic relationships, saying no to unreasonable demands, or creating space for yourself in a crowded schedule. By doing so, you reinforce your commitment to your own well-being and create a life that aligns with your values. Reflect on areas in your life where your boundaries might be blurred or ignored. Are there relationships or situations where you feel your needs are being overlooked or violated? How can you begin to set clearer boundaries and communicate them effectively? This might involve having difficult conversations or making tough decisions, but the result is a more balanced, respectful, and fulfilling life. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-mastery and control over one's own life. By setting boundaries, you take control of your environment and ensure that your life reflects your values and priorities. It's a practice rooted in self-respect, teaching others how to treat you while also preserving your energy and emotional health. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, but about creating a space where healthy, respectful interactions can thrive. Boundaries are a vital form of self-love. They protect your well-being, preserve your energy, and ensure that your life aligns with your values and priorities. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you create a life that reflects your worth and respects your needs. Remember, setting boundaries is not about being selfish. It's about honoring yourself and creating a foundation for healthy, fulfilling relationships. Embrace the power of boundaries, and you'll find that they are a key to living a balanced, joyful, and authentic life. Not every battle is worth fighting. Imagine standing in a vast field, surrounded by countless adversaries, each representing a different challenge or conflict in your life. You're armed and ready, but as you look around, you realize that if you engage in every single battle, you'll exhaust yourself long before the real threats even emerge. This is the essence of the Stoic lesson. Not every battle is worth fighting. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, wisely noted, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone." This quote encapsulates a powerful truth. Many conflicts are optional, and choosing not to engage can be a sign of strength rather than weakness. It's about conserving your energy for the battles that truly matter, the ones that align with your values and contribute to your growth. In life, it's easy to get caught up in unnecessary conflicts, from petty arguments with loved ones to disputes at work over trivial matters. The instinct to defend your position, prove a point, or assert your dominance can be strong. However, engaging in every conflict not only drains your energy, but also diverts your focus from the things that truly matter. The Stoics teach us that wisdom lies in discernment, knowing which battles are worth fighting and which are better left alone. Consider a situation where a colleague consistently tries to undermine you or a friend who often brings drama into your life. The temptation to confront these issues head-on can be overwhelming, driven by a desire for justice or a need to assert your boundaries. But before you engage, ask yourself, is this battle worth fighting? Will it lead to a meaningful resolution? Or will it simply drain your energy and create more tension? Often, the wiser choice is to step back, let go of the need to be right, and focus on what truly matters. Walking away from unnecessary battles doesn't mean you're avoiding conflict out of fear or weakness. It means you're choosing to prioritize your peace, energy, and focus. It's about understanding that not every conflict needs your attention, and not every slight or insult requires a response. By choosing your battles wisely, you conserve your strength for the challenges that truly matter and can make a meaningful difference in your life. Reflect on your own life. Are there conflicts or situations where you're expending energy on battles that don't truly matter? How can you begin to discern which battles are worth fighting and which are best left alone? This might involve letting go of the need to be right, accepting that not everyone will agree with you, or choosing to focus your energy on more constructive pursuits. By doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and create space for more positive and fulfilling experiences. The Stoics believed that true power lies in self-mastery, the ability to control your own reactions and choose your battles wisely. They taught that by focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you can navigate life with greater peace and effectiveness. This lesson is particularly relevant in today's world, where conflicts and distractions abound. By choosing your battles wisely, you not only protect your energy, but also ensure that your efforts are directed towards what truly matters. Not every battle is worth fighting. This Stoic lesson teaches us the importance of discernment and the power of choosing where to focus our energy. By walking away from unnecessary conflicts, you conserve your strength for the battles that truly matter and create a life that is more peaceful, focused, and fulfilling. Remember, true strength lies not in fighting every battle, but in knowing which ones are worth your time and effort. Embrace this wisdom, and you'll find that your life becomes more balanced, purposeful, and serene. You deserve better. Imagine being trapped in a small, dimly lit room with only a tiny window letting in a sliver of light. You've been in this room for so long that you've almost forgotten what it's like to feel the warmth of the sun on your skin or breathe in the fresh air. But deep down, you know there's a world of possibilities outside, a life where you're not confined by the limitations of this room. This scenario represents the moment when you realize you deserve better. Better treatment, better opportunities, and a better life. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This quote speaks to the heart of why many of us settle for less than we deserve. We don't dare to believe that we are worthy of more, whether it's a toxic relationship, an unfulfilling job, or a life that feels small and limiting. We often stay because it's familiar, even when it's painful. But the truth is, you deserve better, and the first step towards a better life is recognizing your worth. In relationships, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that you're not deserving of respect, love, or kindness. You might stay with someone who mistreats you because you've been convinced that this is the best you can get. But deep down, you know this isn't true. Walking away from a toxic relationship isn't just about leaving someone behind. It's about stepping into a life where you're valued and respected. It's about understanding that you deserve to be treated with love and kindness and refusing to settle for anything less. The same principle applies to your career. You might find yourself in a job that drains you, where your talents are underappreciated and your potential is stifled, but because it provides security or because you fear the unknown, you stay. However, walking away from a job that doesn't fulfill you is an act of courage and self-respect. It's about recognizing your worth and believing that you deserve a career that challenges you, excites you, and aligns with your passions and values. Walking away isn't just about leaving behind what no longer serves you. It's about walking towards something better. It's about daring to believe that you are worthy of more happiness, more fulfillment, more love, and more opportunities. This mindset shift can be transformative, leading you to make decisions that align with your true self and create a life that reflects your worth. Reflect on areas in your life where you might be settling for less than you deserve. Are there relationships, jobs, or situations where you're compromising your happiness or well-being? How can you begin to take steps towards a life that better reflects your worth? This might involve making difficult decisions or stepping into the unknown, but the reward is a life that is richer, more fulfilling, and more aligned with your true self. The Stoics believed that each person has inherent worth, and that living a good life means honoring that worth in every aspect of your life. This means refusing to settle for less than you deserve and making choices that reflect your value. It's about creating a life where you are respected, valued, and fulfilled. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you can transform your life and create a reality that truly reflects your worth. You deserve better. This lesson teaches us the importance of recognizing our worth and making choices that reflect that value. Whether it's walking away from a toxic relationship, leaving an unfulfilling job, or stepping into a new life, it's about daring to believe that you are worthy of more. Remember, you deserve a life that reflects your true worth, one that is rich with love, fulfillment, and opportunities. Embrace this truth, and you'll find that life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined possible. Time is precious. Imagine holding a handful of sand, watching as the grains slip through your fingers, each representing a moment of time that's passed and can never be reclaimed. The more tightly you grasp, the more quickly the sand escapes. This image vividly captures the fleeting nature of time and the importance of using it wisely, a concept deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This quote is a stark reminder that time is our most valuable resource, yet it's often squandered on trivial pursuits, distractions, and unimportant matters. The realization that time is precious should compel us to live with intention, focusing on what truly matters and letting go of anything that wastes our most finite resource. Today, it's easy to lose sight of the value of time. We get caught up in the busyness of life, often mistaking activity for productivity. Whether it's spending hours on social media, getting involved in unnecessary conflicts, or procrastinating on important tasks, we often waste time without even realizing it. The Stoics teach us to be mindful of how we use our time, to ensure that we're investing it in activities and relationships that bring us closer to our goals and align with our values. Consider a typical day in your life. How much of your time is spent on activities that truly matter to you? How often do you find yourself doing things out of obligation, habit, or to avoid boredom, rather than out of a genuine desire or purpose? Walking away from time-wasting activities and commitments isn't just about being more productive. It's about honoring the limited time you have and ensuring that it's spent in ways that are meaningful and fulfilling. Walking away from distractions and time-wasting habits requires discipline and self-awareness. It means being honest with yourself about how you're spending your time and making conscious choices to prioritize what truly matters. This might involve setting boundaries, saying no to commitments that don't align with your priorities, or simply being more mindful of how you spend your free time. By doing so, you create a life that is richer and more aligned with your true purpose. Reflect on how you're using your time. Are there activities or commitments that are consuming your time without adding value to your life? How can you begin to make more intentional choices about how you spend your time? This might involve reassessing your priorities, letting go of time-wasting habits, or making a conscious effort to be more present in your daily life. By valuing your time, you honor your life and ensure that you're making the most of every moment. The Stoics believed that time was the most precious resource we have, and that living a good life means using it wisely. They taught that by being mindful of how we spend our time, we can live more fully and with greater purpose. This lesson is especially relevant in today's world, where distractions are endless and time often feels like it's slipping away. By walking away from time-wasting activities and focusing on what truly matters, you can create a life that is more intentional, purposeful, and fulfilling. Time is precious, and how you choose to spend it is one of the most important decisions you can make. This lesson teaches us to be mindful of how we use our time and to prioritize activities and relationships that align with our values and goals. Remember, time is the one resource you can never get back, so use it wisely. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and make the most of every moment, ensuring that your life is rich with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. You can't pour from an empty cup. Imagine yourself standing by a well, one that has always provided you with water, nourishment, and sustenance. You've relied on it so heavily that, over time, you notice the water level is getting lower and lower. One day, as you lower your bucket, you hear the clank of metal against dry stone. The well has run dry. This is a powerful metaphor for how we often give so much of ourselves to others that we forget to replenish our own reserves, leaving us drained and unable to give anymore. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. This quote speaks to the importance of self-awareness and self-care. It's a reminder that to be effective in our roles, as friends, partners, parents, or professionals, we must first take care of our own needs. You can't give what you don't have, and if you're running on empty, you'll find it increasingly difficult to be there for others or to perform at your best. In today's society, the pressure to be constantly productive and available can be overwhelming. We're often praised for putting others' needs before our own, for working late into the night, and for pushing through exhaustion. But the Stoics teach us that this approach is unsustainable. Like the well, if you keep drawing from your reserves without taking the time to replenish them, eventually, there will be nothing left to give. Walking away from this mindset isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's about recognizing that you can't be everything to everyone if you're neglecting yourself in the process. Consider the last time you felt truly rested, fulfilled, and energized. How did that impact your ability to show up for others? Now, think about how often you've pushed yourself to the point of burnout, sacrificing your well-being for the sake of others. The truth is, when you're depleted, the quality of what you can give diminishes. You might be physically present, but your emotional and mental presence may be lacking. Walking away from the demands that deplete you is an act of self-respect and self-preservation. It's about acknowledging that your well-being is just as important as anyone else's. This lesson is particularly relevant in the context of relationships. Whether it's with a partner, friend, or family member, it's easy to fall into the trap of giving more than you receive, of prioritizing their needs at the expense of your own. But healthy relationships are built on balance, mutual respect, and the understanding that both parties need to be nourished and fulfilled. By setting boundaries and prioritizing your own needs, you ensure that you have the energy, patience, and love to give without resentment or depletion. Reflect on your current life. Are there areas where you're giving too much without taking the time to replenish yourself? How can you begin to prioritize your own well-being, setting boundaries that allow you to recharge and restore your energy? This might involve saying no to extra commitments, taking time for self-care, or simply being honest with yourself about your limits. By doing so, you'll find that you have more to give, and the quality of what you offer improves. The Stoics believed that self-care wasn't just a luxury, it was a necessity for living a balanced and fulfilling life. They taught that by taking care of yourself first, you're better equipped to care for others and to fulfill your roles effectively. This lesson is especially important in our fast-paced world, where burnout is common, and self-neglect is often seen as a badge of honor. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you can create a life that is more balanced, sustainable, and fulfilling, ensuring that you're able to give your best to others without depleting yourself in the process. You can't pour from an empty cup. This lesson teaches us the importance of self-care and the need to prioritize our own well-being. By walking away from the mindset that constant giving is sustainable, you protect your energy and ensure that you can show up fully for the people and tasks that matter most. Remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Embrace this truth, and you'll find that your life becomes richer, more balanced, and more fulfilling. Walking away creates space for growth. Picture a lush garden, overgrown with weeds and plants that no longer bear fruit. The garden is your life, filled with things that once served a purpose but now only take up space, blocking out the light and choking the potential for new growth, to allow new, vibrant plants to flourish. You must clear out the old, making room for fresh life. This is the power of walking away. It creates space for growth, for new opportunities, and for the next chapter of your life. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reflected on the transient nature of life and the importance of letting go. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote is a reminder that obstacles, endings, and departures are not just challenges. They are also opportunities for growth. Walking away from what no longer serves you is not just about leaving something behind. It's about making space for something new to emerge. In life, it's easy to hold on to things, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a way of thinking, simply because they are familiar. But by doing so, you limit your potential for growth. The Stoics teach us that growth often requires letting go, stepping into the unknown, and trusting that by creating space, new and better opportunities will arise. Walking away is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of wisdom, courage, and the willingness to evolve. Consider a time when you held on to something for too long. A relationship that had run its course, a job that no longer challenged you, or a belief that was limiting your potential. How did that impact your life? Now, imagine what could have happened if you had walked away sooner, creating space for new experiences, relationships, and opportunities. The truth is, walking away can be one of the most powerful acts of self-empowerment. It's about recognizing when something is no longer contributing to your growth and having the courage to let it go. Walking away isn't easy. It often involves facing the unknown, dealing with uncertainty, and confronting the fear of what might happen next. But the Stoics teach us that this is where true growth happens, in the space that's created when we let go of what no longer serves us. It's in this space that we find new opportunities, new strengths, and new paths that lead us closer to our true potential. Reflect on your own life. Are there areas where you're holding on to something that's no longer serving you? How can you begin to create space for growth by letting go of what's holding you back? This might involve ending a relationship, leaving a job, or simply changing a mindset that's limiting your potential. By doing so, you open the door to new possibilities and create the conditions for growth and transformation. The Stoics believed that life is a constant process of growth and evolution. They taught that by embracing change and letting go of what no longer serves us, we create space for new experiences, relationships, and opportunities to enter our lives. This lesson is especially important in today's world, where we often cling to the familiar out of fear of the unknown. By walking away and creating space for growth, you can transform your life and move closer to your true potential. Walking away creates space for growth. This lesson teaches us the importance of letting go and making room for new opportunities and experiences. By embracing change and trusting in the process of growth, you open yourself up to new possibilities and ensure that your life continues to evolve in positive and fulfilling ways. Remember, growth requires space, and sometimes that means walking away from what no longer serves you. Embrace this truth, and you'll find that your life becomes richer, more dynamic, and more aligned with your true potential. Clarity comes with distance. Imagine standing at the base of a mountain, looking up at the towering peak above you. From where you stand, the path is unclear, the terrain rough and unforgiving. But as you begin to climb, gaining altitude with each step, you notice that the higher you go, the clearer the path becomes. This is the power of distance. It gives you perspective, allowing you to see things more clearly and make decisions with greater wisdom. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." This quote reminds us that sometimes the challenges we face are best understood from a distance. When you're in the midst of a difficult situation, it's easy to get caught up in the emotions and lose sight of the bigger picture. But by stepping back, creating distance, and gaining perspective, you can see things more clearly and make decisions that are in your best interest. In life, it's easy to get caught up in the immediacy of our problems, reacting impulsively and making decisions based on emotions rather than reason. The Stoics teach us that clarity comes with distance. By stepping back from a situation, you gain a broader perspective, allowing you to see things more objectively and make wiser choices. This might involve taking a break, distancing yourself from a conflict, or simply giving yourself time to reflect before making a decision. Consider a time when you made a decision in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later. How might things have been different if you had taken a step back, created some distance, and given yourself time to gain clarity? The truth is, distance can be a powerful tool for gaining insight and making better decisions. It allows you to see the situation from different angles, consider all the options, and make a choice that is more aligned with your values and long-term goals. Walking away to gain distance is not about avoidance. It's about creating the space you need to see things clearly. It's about recognizing that sometimes the best way to understand a situation is to step back from it. This might mean taking a break from a relationship to gain perspective, stepping away from a project to reevaluate your approach, or simply giving yourself time to process your thoughts and emotions before taking action. Reflect on your current challenges. Are there situations where you could benefit from creating some distance? How can you step back to gain clarity and make more informed decisions? This might involve taking a temporary break, seeking advice from others, or simply giving yourself permission to pause and reflect. By doing so, you'll find that you can approach the situation with a clearer mind and a more balanced perspective. The Stoics believed that clarity and wisdom often come from creating distance and gaining perspective. They taught that by stepping back from a situation, you can see it more clearly and make decisions that are more aligned with your values and goals. This lesson is especially important in today's fast-paced world, where we're often pressured to make quick decisions without fully understanding the consequences. By embracing the power of distance, you can make wiser choices and live a more intentional and fulfilling life. Clarity comes with distance. This lesson teaches us the importance of stepping back from our challenges to gain perspective and make better decisions. By creating space between yourself and the situation, you can see things more clearly, avoid impulsive reactions, and make choices that are in your best interest. Remember, distance is not about avoidance. It's about gaining the clarity you need to move forward with wisdom and purpose. Embrace this truth, and you'll find that your life becomes more intentional, balanced, and aligned with your true values. Like, subscribe, and stay on the path.